this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. I'm going to do an unmounting and put in a pot, mainly because this plant has never been that happy on a mount, and I've just left it and ignored it for too long now, so it's coming off. This is Encyclia prismatocarpa. Never bloomed for me. I got this towards the end of 2015, and that's the bit I bought, and it produced one new growth last year, which seemed reasonable, but it didn't push out any new roots with that new growth, and it started pushing them out a couple of months ago, and they don't seem happy, and I think they just don't get enough hydration from a mount. None of these new roots are anywhere near the mount, so they're hanging in the air all the time because they dry ridiculously fast. Most of the old root system has completely failed, and I suspect if I tug this it's just going to come straight off. It's not tied on. Alright, prove me a liar then. So I will cut it off because most of the roots that are attached are actually dead. So I wouldn't keep them anyway. So I'm just going to snip the whole thing off if I can, without damaging the few new roots that I've got. And then it's going in a pot, which hopefully will get those new roots hydrated. I mean, this is like crunchy stuff, what I'm cutting. It's not alive. It just isn't. Right, get the mount out of the way because I won't be needing that for this plant, that's for sure. Now, what I want to do is pot this section of the plant, yeah, which is its last bulb that's got leaves. That's a leafless bulb. The one behind it has still got leaves on, but there are no eyes on that part of the plant. So there's no point in keeping it, I don't think. Oh, actually there is an eye down there. But it's not worth keeping. I want to rejuvenate the front end of this plant because of these. I have two eyes on this latest lead with some roots starting to grow. That's what I want to keep. What I want to get rid of is this old section, which means heavy duty cutters, which are also in the alcohol. Now, whenever I get near a rhizome, I have trepidation for obvious reasons. I'm going to cut that there. Yeah, that has got a little bit of purple on it, but it's not in the right place. So I might end up putting this on the iffy plant list, but I'm going to take it back to there because that's the bit I'm going to plant. That's the bit that I'll discard. I think I'm okay. You know, there is a tiny little bit of coloration there, but don't forget, some of the coloration on the very edge of a rhizome is natural. And if that had the dreaded F slightly in from the edge, the very edge of the rhizome is the bit that transports the moisture and the nutrients. It's not the very edge, that's like its skin. So it's slightly in from there where you get the purple ring, and that hasn't got it. So I'm pleased with that. These older roots serve no purpose whatsoever, so they're coming off. They would help anchor it in the pot, but because of my new anchoring method that I picked up off other people, I don't need to anchor the plant in the pot with the old roots anymore, so they can just come off. They're only going to die anyway. There's no point in keeping them, so they're coming off. All of them. Gosh, they're just like twigs on a bush. So they can all come off back to the base. Now, luckily I haven't got loads of cleaning up to do on this. This is quite a clean plant to actually pot up. And now I've got something that will pot quite nicely against the back of the pot. Yeah, new section of the plant with two eyes that should push on. I mean, this had a real bad infestation of scale on it, so I shall be peeling off sheaths in case there's anything still lurking under there, but there shouldn't be. That's a nice new growth there. And I think with the sheaths off and a little bit of contact with some moisture, it should push out some more roots, quite honestly. It's in the mood for it. There's little stumps of roots showing here. They're going to grow. If they get some hydration, they're going to grow. No sign of any scale, that's good. No sign of the dreaded F word, that are also good. And some roots. You know, I've only got one green tip here, but I have nubbins showing signs of more roots to come, and two good eyes, one here and one here. Now, if I can get two new growths to push on this through this growing season, I shall be over the moon. So that's what I'm going to pot. Got 3 good leaves on here because it can't make up its mind what it is, whether it's 1 leaf, 2 leaf or 3 leaves. That had a sheath on it when I got it. I had high hopes, nothing happened. The latest growth that I grew had a sheath on it, high hopes again, not a light. I mean, that is completely empty and it's not going to bloom. I know sometimes they do on old bits, but this one isn't going to. So that's it, that's what I'm going to pot. It's not going in a big pot. Now, should that go in one of the clay pots? Actually, I think I'm going to put that in one of the clay pots. Kill 2 birds with 1 stone. That allows the air to get round it, because although it didn't grow well on a mount, it didn't fail. So it does like some air around the roots. So I'm going to stick that in one of my holy clay pots. Small one, not a big one. I don't want too much media around it. And I'll have to work out how the hell I'm going to... I'll either have to wire it in there, or I'll have to try and use one of my little sticks and see if I can wedge that. I don't think the small... I'll go and have a look. Anyway, there's no need to clean that up, no need to wash it, no need to do anything with it apart from give it some peroxide. God, I don't know where this day has gone. Do you know, it's 5:45. That are nearly tea time. Now, although the tea's coming out the freezer, not a freezer meal, I don't do that sort of thing. It's a home cooked meal, split into portions and then frozen so that I can get it out, defrost it and either cook some rice or spaghetti or whatever I want it to go with it, and have a meal ready in 10 to 15 minutes that is home cooked. I live quite well like that. So I'll sort myself a pot out, do the hydrogen peroxide just in case there's any scale lurking in there that need making dead, and cinnamon on the back edge of that, keep it nice and dry, and then we'll get it in a pot. Be back soon. Oh, I know, I'll be back. Okay, I'm going to use one of my small holy clay pots for this one, and my sticks that I got unfortunately won't push through the holes in these small clay pots because they're not big enough. Quite honestly, I couldn't even get the wire through. I had to get my sharp screwdriver and push it through the holes, twisting it to open them up a bit. They're not made cleanly, you know, it is clay and it would be all wet and soggy when the pot was made and somebody just pokes a hole through. And the poor old plant nearly got piri-piri on the, on the rhizome. Oh well, the spice jars look the same. So a bit of cinnamon on there to dry it up, double checking I picked the right jar up. It's either piri-piri or Moroccan it nearly got, but we need to stick with the cinnamon. So I just need to wash my finger off, otherwise I'll get it all over everything else. If you use cinnamon, do go careful where you get it. Try and get it exactly where you want it and nowhere else. If you get it on a root, it will desiccate that root really quickly. It has an incredible drying effect that's brilliant. Now I'm using medium bark, and I suspect half of it's going to fall out of the holes. Tough. It will settle and roots will eventually bind it together. Now I'm going to have to tip some of that out. I forgot I've got one long root and we don't want to damage it. So I've got to get this plant at the right height. Now I've got 2 holes close together, which means when the wire joins them it's going to be very near the edge of the pot. But I have got 2 that are farther away from the edge of the pot, and that's where I want the back of the rhizome to be, which is where the back of the plant needs to be, and I need those roots to gently get fed in with the media. I've got enough hands here. Just say there's no pressing down or anything going to get done. I'm just going to let these roots sit in the media, and by watering I will settle that media around them. And I want the rhizome to be high enough that the wire gets a hold on it and bites. So if I just gently tap that down, that should settle it around the roots. The rhizome sat along the top. Can I let go? Yes. Now the hard bit, is that going to be high enough? I think I need to raise the plant a little bit. So just lift the plant gently, tap the media again, and it will settle down under the rhizome, and lift it gently. I need to be able to pull this down and hold it still. Okay, now it is going to wobble. Now the next thing is to try and get that wire through the other hole, which I can't even see at the moment. Where's that gone then? That one's there. Where's the other one? There it is. Right, now I've got to try and get that wire to go through that hole, and I'm probably in your way and it's tough. There we go. Once I get the end through, I can pull it with the pliers. Now the idea is for the wire to bind onto the plant and hold it still. Oh dear, these holes are too tight. This wire should move nice and easy through the hole and make life an awful lot easier. But the holes are just too tight on these little pots for this thick wire. Come on, pull through. That's better. Right, let's just hope that grabs hold of the rhizome as I pull tight. Luckily with this thick wire I can just press on the wire and put a kink in it if I need to. I don't think that's going to pull through anymore without cracking the pot. That's about as tight as I can get it. Bend it up so that it can't move. Cut the end off so I don't poke myself in the eye. Right, that's not as secure as I want it to be. So what I'm going to do is push on the wire. As I say, it is very sturdy wire. That's got it. That's nice and tight now. All the roots are in the media apart from one sticking up in the air. The two eyes are clear, so I'm just gently teasing that in around those roots. They will, the media will settle as it's watered, and then as those roots grow, fingers crossed, it'll start binding everything together. So that is it. The only thing I want to do for aesthetic purposes is bend that downwards, not upwards. I don't know why, it just looks nicer to me if the wire goes down the pot, not up it. And then push it in out of sight so that the end doesn't stick out. That one the same, push that end in. It tucks under the rim of the pot then. Yeah, that's good and firm. Yeah. Root tips in the media. A little bit more around that side. A good watering label. Done. Job done. There we go. That's it. Short and sweet. That's Encyclia prismato carpa. I'm not going to get my Alicei done today, and you don't know why I've even mentioned that, because the section of the video that's in I haven't even put together yet. As I said, this has been a long day. I had 39 clips and filled up my memory card and had to download them all. I've still got some starts and ends to do for all those bits to put them together. I'm producing one now. That one I'll post today. I can produce this one very quick because it's a short video. I'll probably post that one later this evening or first thing tomorrow perhaps. And then I don't need to film tomorrow. I've got so many clips I can probably put 2 more videos together with all those bits and bobs. But that's been on the cards for a long time, this one. So I'm pleased to get that one out the way. Hopefully now it's going to take off, because it hasn't been taking off very well. So hopefully it will now. Okay, thanks for dropping by. See you next time.